of the bid documents shall be allowed to talk and clarify any and all submitted legal, technical, and financial documents during the opening of bids on July 2, 2019. Next, bidders shall provide 1 original and 11 duplicate copies for each and every required legal eligibility, technical requirements, and financial documents. The bidders are required to provide a table of contents and corresponding tab label for each and every technical and financial components. That is for all documentary requirements to help ensure completeness of submissions by the bidders and facilitate examination or bid evaluation by SBAC. PCSO shall strictly observe the cut-off time for the submission of bids as indicated in the published invitation to bid. Bidders must strictly observe the prescribed sealing and marking of envelopes, and PCSO reserves the right to require additional or supporting documents from bidders with the lowest calculated bid during post-qualification to clarify and support any and all submissions or as may be required by oversight bodies such as, but not limited to, the Commission on Audit.
We also indicated important reminders and clarifications in the published invitation to bid last May 17, 2019. SBAC members, you may now have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is the pre-bid conference for SBAC contract number 2019-01, also known as 5 years lease of the Philippine Charity Sweepstakes Office Lottery System, or PLS or brevity. The PLS is included in the PCSO board-approved annual procurement plan and information system strategic plan for calendar year 2019.
SBAC contract number 2019-01, while a mixed procurement has been classified by PCSO essentially as procurement of goods.
SBAC contract number 2019-01 has an approved budget per contract or ABC in the aggregate amount of 8,323,990,649 pesos and 8 centavos Philippine pesos, inclusive of all applicable taxes, levies, duties, charges, and fees, with the following schedule of payments. For year 1 until year 4, 1,664,798,129 pesos and 82 centavos for each year. For year 5, 1,664,798,129 pesos and 80 centavos.
The release of the schedule of payments shall commence on year 1 of the commercial operation of the PCSO lottery system, which shall be guaranteed and paid equally on a monthly basis at the end of each month. Bids received in excess of the ABC shall be automatically rejected at bid opening.
The Philippine Charity Sweepstakes Office, PCSO, now invites bids for the 5 years lease of the PCSO lottery system. Supply, delivery, and installation of goods with testing and commissioning is required within 12 months or 1 year upon issuance of notice to proceed.
Bidders should have completed within 10 years from the date of submission of and receipt of bids a contract similar in nature and complexity to the project. The description of an eligible bidder is contained in the bidding documents, particularly in Section 2, Instructions to Bidder.
Bidding will be conducted through open competitive bidding procedures using a non-discretionary pass-fail criterion as specified in the 2016 revised implementing rules and regulations of Republic Act number 9184.
Bidding is restricted to Filipino citizens, sole proprietorships, partnerships, or organizations with at least 60% interest or outstanding capital stock belonging to citizens of the Philippines, and to citizens or organizations of a country, the laws or regulations of which grant similar rights or privileges to Filipino citizens pursuant to Republic Act number 5183.
Interested bidders may obtain further information from the PCSO Special Bids and Awards Committee and inspect the bidding documents at the address given below during office hours from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
A complete set of bidding documents may be acquired starting May 17, 2019, Friday, and upon payment of the applicable fee for the bidding document, pursuant to the latest guideline issued by the GPPB in the amount of 75,000 Philippine pesos.
It may also be downloaded free of charge from the website of the Philippine Government Electronic Procurement System and the website of the procuring entity at www.pcso.gov.ph, provided that bidders shall submit a letter of intent with the required documentary attachments and pay the applicable fee for the bidding documents not later than the submission of their bids.
Bids must be submitted and duly received by the SBAC Secretariat on or before 12 noon Philippine Standard Time on July 1, 2019, Monday, at the ground floor, Conservatory Building, 605 Shaw Boulevard, Mandaluyong City, Metro Manila, Philippines. All bids shall be accompanied by a bid security in any of the acceptable forms and in the amount stated in ITV Clause 18.1. Late bids shall not be accepted.
Bid opening shall be on July 2, 2019, Tuesday at 8 a.m. Philippine Standard Time at the Legend Villas Hotel, 60 Pioneer Street, Mandaluyong, 1554 Metro Manila, Philippines. Bids will be opened in the presence of the bidders and or their authorized representatives who chose to attend.
The accomplished letter of intent form under Section 8, bidding forms, shall be required before SBAC Secretariat allows procurement of bid documents.
The bidder must have installed at least 4,756 fixed terminal units that are active in commercial operation and connected to a single gaming system, whether located within or outside the Philippines, for the past 10 years, reckoned from the date of submission and receipt of bids.
The customized PCSO lottery system contemplates and covers an all-in working online lottery system, lock, stock, and barrel, in that the bidder's leased lottery system must be functioning with integrated lottery software, brand new hardware, accessories, peripherals, and guaranteed telecommunication connectivity nationwide.
To generate more revenues from the state-run lotteries and augment scarce resources for the government priority health programs, the leased lottery system must be capable of processing interactive services such as, but not limited to, kiosks, fixed terminals, and to handle new technology available in the lottery industry or market if required by PCSO during the term of the lease contract.
Commercial purposes of effecting rental payments per year and payable on equal monthly installments shall be the completion of milestones 1 to 6 or PCSO's acceptance of milestone 6, and provided that the PCSO lottery system is operational and able to receive bets from players nationwide, produce transaction receipts, record sales, produce financial reports, etc. Similar contracts shall refer to supply and delivery and installation of gaming systems that are active, operational, and connected to a single gaming system, whether located within or outside the Philippines for the past 10 years, reckoned from date of submission and receipt of bids.
Bidders shall be required to submit their PhilJEPS membership certificate of registration, platinum category, during eligibility check or bid submission in lieu of their Class A documents. Said certificate of registration must be accessible, uploaded and maintained current or updated in the PhilJEPS website pursuant to Section 8.5.2 of the 2016 Revised IRR of Republic Act 9184 and Section 4.1.2 of GPPB Circular 03-2016 dated October 27, 2016.
Bidders may still submit their Class A eligibility documents required to be uploaded and maintained current and updated in the PhilJEPS, or if already in the PhilJEPS under Platinum category, their certificate of registration and membership in lieu of their uploaded file of Class A documents or a combination thereof. And in case the bidder opted to submit their Class A documents, the certificate of PhilJEPS registration Platinum membership shall remain as a post-qualification requirement to be submitted in accordance with Section 34.2 of the 2016 Revised IRR of RA 9184.
For forms for Envelope 2, Financial Proposal, the bidders are reminded of the following. First, all bids must be quoted in Philippine peso currency, and the amount quoted in words therein shall prevail over those quoted in figures.
Second, the form of goods offered from abroad and goods offered from within the Philippines which require bidders to indicate price per item or component of lottery system shall not be applicable, since this is a mixed contract for the lease of the PCSO lottery system, such not a contract to purchase only goods. For this reason, bidders shall use the bid form under Section 8, the bidding form, to indicate or quote their respective financial proposals.
Third, all bids or rental quoted by bidders shall cover and contemplate an all-in working lottery system, the aggregate consolidated rentals of all milestones under Section 6, schedule of requirements of the bid documents for the 5 years lease of PCSO lottery system, and inclusive of all applicable taxes, levies, duties, charges, and fees.
Fourth, all bids or rentals quoted by bidders shall be fixed or locked in, not subject to escalation, unless for extraordinary circumstances allowed under the 2016 revised IRR of RA 9184 and revised guidelines on contract price escalation, Appendix 15.
Fifth, bidders are required to submit their own technical eligibility documents for purposes of complying with the eligibility requirements. They cannot merely rely on the technical credentials of their subcontractors or any other bidder. The bidders on their own credentials shall be technically eligible to participate in any government procurement unless the bidder is a joint venture where the technical and financial capacity of one joint venture partner shall be considered as a technical and financial capacity of all joint venturers. Under GPPB NPM number 165-2015 dated December 22, 2015. Sixth, for joint venture, Filipino ownership or interest shall be at least 60%. For this purpose, Filipino ownership or interest shall be based on the contribution of each of the partners of the joint venture as specified in their JVA. Section 23.4.1.1e of the 2016 revised IRR of RA 9184. The JV partners shall reflect in their SBAC prescribed disclosure form and their JV agreement the respective contributions, which may be in the form of monetary, property, or industrial contribution. The determination of the required 60% Filipino participation may be made by examining the terms and conditions of the joint venture agreement and other supporting financial documents submitted by the joint venture, or in the absence of a joint venture agreement, the duly notarized statement executed by the potential joint venture partners.
7, foreign bidders are also allowed to participate by reason of their country's extension of reciprocal rights to Filipinos or the reciprocity rule by submitting a sworn statement which must include a certification from the relevant government office in their country that is equivalent to the Philippines Department of Foreign Affairs, stating that Filipinos are allowed to participate in their government procurement for the same item or product that is the subject of this procurement. Section 8.5.2, 2016 revised IRR, RA 9184.
If the sworn statement or attachment to the certificate of reciprocity is in a language other than the English language, it must be accompanied by a translation of the documents in English issued by the relevant foreign government agency, the foreign government agency authorized to translate documents, or a registered translator in the foreign bidder's country, and shall be authenticated by the appropriate Philippine Foreign Service establishment, post, or the equivalent office having jurisdiction over the foreign bidder's affairs in the Philippines.
For the sealing and marking of bid documents and transfer of bid box and bid document from PCSO office to venue of bid opening on July 1, 2019 at exactly 12 noon, deadline of submission of bids, the following shall be observed. First, in lieu of the mother envelope, all bids, that is both envelopes 1 and 2, 1 original and 11 duplicate copies per eligibility document must be placed inside a heavy-duty, sturdy, and durable box. Bidders may use as many boxes in lieu of the mother envelope, or use smaller boxes for envelope 1 and 2, subject to observance of markings which will be shown in the audio-visual presentation later.
The bidder's bid box in lieu of the mother envelope shall be properly sealed and marked, and shall be accompanied by the bidder's authorized representative as named in the letter of intent. Upon submission of the bidder's bid box to PCSO, the sequence of its arrival and receipt by the SBAC Secretariat shall be recorded on a first-come, first-served basis, on or before the deadline of submission of bids. Late bids after 12 noon, July 1, 2019 shall not be accepted.
At this juncture, for uniformity, Secretariat, please show us the battery-operated clock that the committee will use during the deadline for the submission of bids.
Secretariat, please bring the clock to the committee. Approach, please. Okay. Okay. Next.
Please state the time as appearing in the clock for the record.
Where's the clock? Come here.
Let the camera zoom in on the face of the clock.
Madam Chair, I'm showing the battery-operated clock that will be used by the committee during the deadline of submission of bids on July 1, 2019. The time is 10:45 a.m. Philippine Standard Time.
All interested bidders present are requested to synchronize their respective timepieces with the clock shown by the Secretariat. SBAC, TWG, and Secretariat are directed to adjust their timepieces too for uniformity. Let's continue.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The bidders or their authorized representative, as named in the bidder's letter of intent upon purchase of bid documents, who submitted the bidder's bid box before the deadline shall be required to, first, reseal their bidder's box in clean wrap to be provided by PCSO in the presence of SBAC, COA, and invited observers. Second, sign and attach to their bid box SBAC's received intact and in good condition sticker. The sticker shall bear the sequence number of arrival of the bidder's bid box, that is, date and time the bid box was submitted to and received by SBAC Secretariat, which shall be countersigned by SBAC Secretariat and PCSO Internal Audit Services representatives and witnessed by COA. Third, witness and escort the bidder's box from PCSO office to venue of bid opening, provided that the transport of the bid box and bid documents from the PCSO office to the venue of bid opening shall be recorded and streamed live in social media and escorted by SBAC, COA, PCSO, and other invited observers.
Further, upon arrival at the venue of bid opening, the bid box and all bid documents shall be accounted for, and bidders or their authorized representatives shall be requested to confirm that their submitted bid box had been safely transported to the venue of bid opening and the same is still intact and properly sealed with the SBAC sticker bearing their signatures.
Furthermore, bidders and their authorized representatives are allowed to watch over the respective bid boxes at the venue of bid opening, provided that PCSO reserves the right to introduce security protocols to maintain order in the venue of bid opening. This includes, among others, PCSO's discretion to engage the assistance of the Philippine National Police and/or the Armed Forces of the Philippines to maintain peace and proper guarding of all bid boxes.
All bidders are reminded that the PCSO reserves the right to reject any and all bids, declare a failure of bidding, or not award the contract at any time prior to contract award in accordance with Section 41, Republic Act No. 9184, and its revised IRR, without thereby incurring any liability to the affected bidder or bidders.
Having discussed the important reminders to bidders, let us now proceed with the inspection and sealing of the bid box. The bid box will be used to store bids submitted before the deadline of submission of bids or before 12 noon on July 1, 2019. Secretariat, please facilitate the inspection and sealing of the bid box.
May we request our invited observers to witness and help the Secretariat in the inspection of the bid box and its sealing. May we kindly request the Honorable Gas Tambunting to help us with the inspection of the bid box, sir. And Chairperson Pinili, together with Director Ike Señeres. Please bring the bid box in the middle. Maybe ask the camera to zoom in. That will do. That will do. There. Maybe ask cameras to zoom in, please. Can you show the Secretariat, kindly show the lock to Chairperson Pinili, Director Señeres, Congressman Tambunting. Sir, please. Maybe you can, each of you can lock the key. Seal 1 po. Please seal 1. Okay. Director Sinières, the middle part. May we request our special guest of honor, the chairperson of the Committee on Games and Amusement, to lock the third padlock. Please. Thank you, sir. Kindly assist Secretariat, please. Thank you, Honorable Gaston Bunting, Chairperson Pinili, and Director Sinières. All those who are interested, you can stand up and go through the bid box. It's obviously does not have anything on it, and it's clear. Finding the bid box.
Finding the bid box empty, the Secretariat is directed to show the lock and keys to bid box to include the security plastic seal. Please show the security plastic seal to the observers and the camera for the benefit of our live streaming viewers. Mr. Ariel de Ocampo, kindly assist in the sealing of the bid box.
Yes, ma'am.
Secretariat, can we show the security plastic seal serial number to the camera? Please show it to the camera. Please focus on the serial number. Okay, so for the record, the serial numbers are 00997, 00998, and 00999. Seal it first. Please put the security plastic seal. Secretariat, kindly assist Engineer De Ocampo. May we ask our videographer to focus on the serial number of the security plastic seal, please? All three. Madam Chair, may we please the 3 sets of keys of the 3 locks that now seal the bid box and cause it to be placed inside the small brown envelope which will be sealed and duly signed by all members of SBAC and the observer from the Internal Audit Services and the PCSO Commission on Audit if they are around.
Yes, please.
Please show the three sets of keys first. Now remove the keys first and show that the envelope is empty. Show the inside of the envelope to the camera. Okay. Next. Show the 3 sets of keys. Okay. You may place it inside. Show the camera. Seal. Seal it. Kindly approach the SBAC so they can affix their signatures across the tape. The SBAC will also sign the certification that they witnessed the inspection and sealing of the bid box. May we request the observer from the Internal Audit Services and the COA PCSO to approach the center table and affix your signature. Do we have the representative from COA PCSO? Anyway, they are not required to be present, but they were officially invited. I think they're watching through Facebook right now. Kindly show the sealed envelope, the sealed brown envelope to the camera. Camera, please zoom in. Show both sides. In the presence of our guests, bidders, observers, and members of the SBAC, the Secretariat is showing to you the sealed envelope containing the 3 sets of keys to the 3 locks, sealing the bid box and bearing the signatures of SBAC members for the record. The same was also witnessed and countersigned by our observer from the Internal Audit Services. Kindly show the document signed to the camera for the record.
Secretariat, please guard and maintain the integrity of the sealed brown envelope bearing 3 sets of keys to the 3 locks of the bid box and the signatures of SBAC members, including our invited observers. The sealed envelope shall be made available and opened in the presence of SBAC members during the opening of bids for SBAC contract number 2019-01 on July 2, 2019 at exactly 8 a.m. at this venue, Legend Villas Hotel.
Yes, ma'am.
SBAC members, let's discuss the legal eligibility, technical documents, and financial requirements bidders are required to prepare and submit on or before July 1st, 2019 at exactly 12 noon.
The legal eligibility documents inside envelope 1 shall contain Class A documents, PhilJEP Certificate of Registration and Membership in accordance with Section 8.5.2 of the revised IRR, except for foreign bidders participating in the procurement by a Philippine Foreign Service Office or post. Shall submit their eligibility documents under Section 23.1 of the IRR, provided that the winning bidder shall register with the PhilJEPs in accordance with Section 37.1.4 of the revised IRR RA 9184.
Reminders on PhilJEP's registration. First, bidders shall be required to submit their PhilJEP's Certificate of Registration of Membership under Platinum category during eligibility check or bid submission, as the case may be, in lieu of their Class A documents uploaded and maintained current and updated in the PhilJEPs pursuant to Section 8.5.2 of the 2016 revised IRR of RA 9184. Second, foreign bidders claiming reciprocity or member corporation in joint venture from a foreign country, you are reminded to take note and follow the eligibility requirements contained under Section 23.1, 2016 revised IRR RA 9184.
On the Bureau of Internal Revenue issued tax certificate, clearance certificate, the required tax certificate must come from the BIR main office in Quezon City, Philippines. In case of foreign bidder not engaged in business in the Philippines, tax clearance certificate from the BIR main office in Quezon City, Philippines, stating therein that they are not engaged in business in the Philippines.
On the statement of all ongoing government and private contracts, including contracts awarded but not yet started of the bidder, if any, whether similar or not similar in nature and complexity to the contract to be bid. These statements should be supported with any or all of the following. First, notice of award. Second, PO contract or MOA. And notice to proceed. All statements in the technical specifications shall be supported by evidence.
On the statement of the bidder's single largest completed contract or SLCC, similar to the contract to be bid in accordance with ITB Clause 5.4 within the last 10 years. The bid document you purchased contained prescribed forms. The single largest completed contract should have a value of at least 50% of the approved budget for the contract, which is 8.23 billion Philippine currency. The SLCC must be a gaming contract. The failure to attach the required document for single largest completed contract and statement of ongoing contract, including those awarded but not yet started, shall automatically disqualify the bidder. The bidder's SLCC statement must be supported with the following: a photocopy of end user's acceptance or official receipt or sales invoice issued for the contract if completed. Any or all of the following: notice of award, purchase order, contract, or MOA. Notice to proceed.
On NFCC, net financial contracting capacity, NFCC computation in accordance with ITB Clause 5.5 or a committed line of credit from a universal or commercial bank. The forms supplied in Section 8, bidding forms, to be supported by the latest audited financial statements duly stamped received by the BIR. Please use the prescribed form for the financial documents for eligibility check and attach all required documents. Failure to attach the audited financial statements stamp received by the BIR in the NFCC form will automatically disqualify the bidder.
For Class B document, in case of joint venture or consortium, the bidder shall submit a joint venture agreement if and when the JV is already in existence, or duly notarized statements from all potential joint venture or consortium partners. Reminders for JV or consortium bidders. Read carefully the published invitation to bid, bid documents, and supplemental bid bulletins for SBAC contract number 2019-01. JV or consortium bidders are reminded to accomplish and attach in their joint venture agreement the prescribed form for disclosure and be guided by the rules on language in the bid documents, specifically if documents attached to the joint venture agreement are in foreign language or not in English language.
On technical documents, Envelope 1, bidders shall submit their bid security in accordance with ITB Clause 18 in any of the following forms. First, bid securing declaration, or second, cash, cashier's manager's check issued by a universal or commercial bank, 2% of the ABC of the items to be bid, or third, bank draft, guarantee, or irrevocable letter of credit issued by a universal or commercial bank, provided, however, that it shall be confirmed or authenticated by a universal or commercial bank locally or in the Philippines, 2% of the ABC of the items to be bid, or fourth, surety bond callable upon demand issued by a surety or insurance company duly certified by the Insurance Commission of the Republic of the Philippines as authorized to issue such security equivalent to 5% of the ABC of the items to be bid.
Reminders on the bid security. First, if the manager's check or letter of credit is issued by a foreign bank, it shall be confirmed or authenticated by a local Philippine universal or commercial bank. Second, the bid security shall be valid for 120 calendar days, reckoned from the deadline of submission of bids, or July 1, 2019, 12 noon PST.
Other technical requirements are contained in the following. First, bid data sheet. Second, special condition of contract. Third, schedule of requirements, technical specifications, Part 1 and Part 2 undertaking. Reminders for other technical requirements. First, bidders through the respective authorized representatives, as indicated in the accomplished letter of intent, upon purchase of bid documents, they are required to indicate their signature or initials in the bid data sheet. Special conditions of the contract, schedule of requirements, and Part 1 and Part 2 of technical specifications. Second, the duly accomplished and signed technical specifications, Part 1 and Part 2, shall make reference and/or include with the following attachments. First, network diagram including list of all components and accessories. Second, system design illustrate the whole lottery system configuration, integrating and/or presenting the working lottery system with all components, hardware, software, telecommunication connectivity, linkages between fixed terminals and the computer systems, and to include all accessories and paraphernalia. Third, brochures or information materials. And lastly, product and/or lottery system, audiovisual presentation, if any.
The bidder shall also submit and include the following certifications in Envelope 1, legal and technical requirements. WLA Security Control Standard 2016 certificate, or in lieu of a WLA SCS 2016 certificate, all of the following. First, ISO IEC 27001 2013 Information Security Management System certificate. Second, ISO 9001 2015 Quality Management System certificate. Third, certification from any WLA's accredited gaming laboratories that the winning bidder's lottery system is compliant with WLA Security Control Standard 2016, WLA SCS 2016 requirements. For the list of accredited auditor gaming laboratories which have been approved by WLA Security and Risk Management Committee, please refer to the WLA website, www.world-lotteries.org.
Bidders shall also submit their duly accomplished statement of undertaking compliance, and more importantly, their duly accomplished omnibus sworn statement. Please read Section 8 bidding forms.
Bidders shall submit soft copies of all the technical document to be saved in a USB or hard disk drive compatible with both Mac OS and other commonly used laptop. This requirement is intended to facilitate the efficient, detailed evaluation of all submitted required documents.
Bidders are reminded to observe the rules on language in the bid documents. The certification on reciprocity shall be translated to English language, duly certified by the appropriate office in the foreign bidder's country of registration, as true and faithful translation of the document as provided under the revised IRR of RA 9184 in relation to Section 8.5.2 of the same IRR. For foreign bidders claiming eligibility for reason of their country's extension of reciprocal rights to Filipinos, a certification from the relevant government office of their country stating that Filipinos are allowed to participate in their government procurement activities for the same item or product.
The following are the documents comprising Envelope 2, Financial Requirements. First, duly signed and accomplished financial bid form. Please use the prescribed form in your purchase bid documents. Second, duly signed bank guarantee form for advance payment if the bidder will wish to apply for advance payment. Third, if the bidder claims preference as a domestic bidder under the flag law or the Filipino First policy, a certification from DTI issued in accordance with ITB Clause 27 shall be required.
Reminders for the bid securing declaration. The bid securing declaration is an undertaking which states, among others, that the bidder shall enter into contract with the procuring entity and furnish the performance security required under ITB Clause 33.2 within 10 calendar days from receipt of the notice of award, and commits to pay the corresponding amount as fine and be suspended for a period of time from being qualified to participate in any government procurement activity in the event that it violates any of the conditions stated therein as provided for in the guidelines issued by the Government Procurement Policy Board under GPPB Resolution Number 25-2013.
Before we proceed, may we request our observers from GACPA, PACC, and IBP to sign the brown envelope containing the keys to the bid box, please. Kindly approach the center table.
Thank you, Madam Chair, for giving the Secretariat the chance to request our distinguished observers to affix their initials in the brown envelope sealing the keys to the bid box. Madam Chair, for the convenience of all, the Secretariat also prepared an audiovisual presentation on the public bidding for the procurement of goods using in part the Government Procurement Policy Board information materials which can be accessed at www.gppb.gov.ph. The Secretariat's ABP will also show the following. First, the table of contents and tabbing of all documents for Envelope 1, legal eligibility and technical requirements, and Envelope 2, financial requirement. Second, sealing and marking for the bidder's bid box or boxes, and markings for both Envelopes 1 and 2, 1 original copy and 11 duplicate copies. And third, the frequently asked question.
Madam Chair, before we proceed, may I ask the Secretariat if bidders who purchase the bid documents will be furnished a copy of the audio-visual presentation?
Sir, the public will have access to the Secretariat's ABP whether or not they purchase the bid docs.
When will the ABP be available at www.pcso.gov.ph?
Sir, it will be available at www.pcso.gov.ph under featured video link within 5 calendar days reckoned from today, June 3, 2019, together with a copy of the minutes of this pre-bid conference.
Secretariat, please show us the AVP.
Madam Chair, may we request that the form for questions be circulated first by the Secretariat before we view the AVP?
Okay. The forms for bidders' questions are directed to be distributed by members of the Secretariat before we watch the AVP. Secretariat, please make sure that all bidders who purchase the bid documents have the forms.
Secretariat, please circulate the question forms for the bidder's question R.
Okay. Madam Chair, to give time for all concerned to compose their questions, I move for a 1-hour recess after the Secretariat's ABP is shown.
I second the motion.
Mahaba po. Okay, 30 minutes na lang daw po.
Overruled. It has been moved and seconded. After the AVP is shown, the committee will have a 30 minutes break to allow all concerned to write down their questions in the forms distributed by the Secretariat earlier. Please be reminded of our ground rules for the orderly conduct of the bidder's question hour.
I second the motion.
May I request our MC to state for the record, Mr. Eric Inson, to state for the record the ground rules for the bidder's question hour.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. Pursuant to SBAC resolution dated May 20, 2019, the subject of which are the ground rules in the conduct of bidder's question hour during the scheduled pre-bid conference on June 3, 2019, today, all concerned are notified and required to observe the following, and I quote, Number 1, bidders and guests may ask questions relating to the bid docs and procedures to be observed by SBAC under Republic Act Number 9184 and its revised IRR using the prescribed form of SBAC, and the following order or sequence of reading questions shall be observed. The first and prioritized are the bidders who purchased the bid documents through authorized representatives as indicated in the accomplished letter of intent and submitted to SBAC. Last, any third person other than invited observers present during the pre-bid conference who desires to ask a question but limited to the published bid documents and supplemental bid bulletins for SBAC contract number 2019-01. And for invited observers, the revised implementing rules and regulations of RA 9184 mandates the presence of observers in monitoring procurement and contract implementation as a means of improving transparency, accountability, public monitoring, and governance. For this purpose, please accomplish the form given by the Secretariat during registration or just now for your comments or feedbacks. Due to time constraints and for purposes of properly guiding all concerned, all questions during this pre-bid conference shall be answered through an appropriate supplemental bid bulletin, if necessary. The SBB shall be published at PhilJeps and at www.pcso.gov.ph at least 7 calendar days on or before the deadline of submission of bids on July 1, 2019 at the ground floor of the PCSO Conservatory Building. That's at number 605 Shaw Boulevard, Mandaluyong City, Metro Manila, Philippines, at exactly 12 noon. Number 4, a copy of the minutes of today's pre-bid conference shall be available at www.pcso.gov.ph, and a copy will be directly furnished to bidders who purchase the bid documents by email. Number 5, for clarity in purpose and strict compliance with the required legal, technical, and financial documents for SBAC contract number 2019-01, all bidders are advised to read carefully each and every page of the published bid documents, to include all supplemental bid bulletins issued before today's pre-bid conference and thereafter. Number 6, for transparency, the pre-bid conference shall be recorded from start to finish and aired via live streaming at www.pcso.gov.ph and the official Facebook and YouTube accounts of PCSO and Facebook account of PTV4. And number 7, finally, except for the bidders' question hour, silence shall be enjoined from all bidders and guests while the pre-bid conference is ongoing. Madam Chairperson.
Thank you, Mr. Imson. The Secretariat may proceed with the showing of the AVP. Silence is enjoined while the AVP is playing.
Yes, ma'am. Please show the video.
The Philippine Charity Sweepstakes Office, through the approved corporate operating budget, intends to apply the sum of 8,323,990,649 pesos and 8 centavos, inclusive of all taxes, levies, duties, and fees, being the approved budget for the contract under the 5 years lease of the PCSO lottery system. A sum of 1,664,798,129 pesos and 82 centavos per year will be paid starting on year 1 of the commercial operation of the PLS and shall be guaranteed and paid equally on a monthly basis at the end of each month. Bids received in excess of the approved budget of the contract shall be automatically rejected at bid opening. At the course of the bidding process, every bidder is assured by PCSO of a fair and equal opportunity to be chosen for this project. This is ensured with our strict observance of the provisions stipulated in Republic Act 9184. What is Republic Act 9184? Also known as the Government Procurement Reform Act or GPRA, RA 9184 prescribes the necessary rules and regulations for the modernization, standardization, and regulation of procurement activities of the Government of the Philippines. This covers, among others, the process of procurement of office supplies, equipment, and general support services. The procurement planning is a critical part of the procurement process. Through this, government agencies identify which among their projects shall be prioritized in order to achieve their agency goals in line with the long-term plan of the government. Procurement planning involves the identification of right specifications of the needed goods and services, as well as the appropriate budget for the procurement of the project. In order to ensure the completeness and correctness of all bidding documents to be received by the agency, a pre-procurement conference was held last May 16, 2019. The procuring agency shall ensure that the specification requirements for the bidding are comprehensible. After this, an invitation to bid shall be published to encourage target bidders to participate in the bidding process. Prior to the deadline of the submission of bid documents, a pre-bid conference shall be held with the interested bidders to discuss the details of the project. All interested bidders must be properly notified of the deadline of submission of bid documents. No bids shall be accepted after the set deadline. The sealing and marking of bid documents. Per RA 9184, there is a specific manner on how you are supposed to seal and mark your bid documents. First, sort all your original documents into two categories: the eligibility and technical component and the financial component. We know that there are original documents which cannot be submitted, as it can be damaged or misplaced. A clear, certified true copy of the document may be submitted and form part of the original documents. Samples of these documents are the company's licenses, registrations, contracts, among others. After gathering the original documents, photocopy all original documents to come up with 11 sets in addition to the original copy. Using the original copy, put all the eligibility and technical components in an envelope, seal, and sign. Then label it with the following details. Do the same for the original copy of the financial component. Now that your original documents are all inside the envelopes, using another envelope, put the two envelopes inside, seal, and sign. Then label it as original. Now for the copies of the original envelope. Get one set each of the eligibility and technical component and the financial component. Put all the eligibility and technical component in an envelope, seal, and sign. Then label it with the following details. Do the same for the copy of the financial component. Now that your documents are all inside the envelopes, using another envelope, put the two envelopes inside, seal, and sign. Then label it as copy 1. For all the remaining copies, copy 2 to 11, do the same as what you did in copy 1. You will have 12 envelopes including the original bid. Now that your 12 envelopes are ready, sealed and signed, labeled with the required markings, you may now put all the 12 envelopes in a mother envelope. Again, the mother envelope has to be sealed and signed and labeled. However, due to the volume of the documents required by this bidding, you may use boxes instead of envelopes, or a combination of envelopes and boxes as long as the seals, signatures, and labels are done in accordance with the instructions of this bidding. The dimensions of your mother box should not exceed the maximum size that the elevator can accommodate and the maximum weight that the hand truck trolley can bear. Should you need an additional mother box, you may do so, as long as you label all the mother boxes properly. For example, if you will be needing 3 boxes, you will label your boxes as Mother Box 1 of 3, Mother Box 2 of 3, Mother Box 3 of 3. After doing all the sealing, marking, and labeling, you are now ready to submit your bid documents to the SBAC Secretariat and join the bidding for the procurement of the PCSO lottery system. The opening of bids. The Special Bids and Awards Committee, or the SBAC, shall conduct a preliminary examination of all the submitted bidding documents. This is done to determine whether the documents are complete and if they conform to the set standards or qualifications. The sequence of the opening of boxes will be done according to the order of submission of the bidders. The first to be opened and reviewed by the SBAC are the technical envelopes of all bidders. Should there be a lacking document, or if inappropriate documents are contained therein, the financial envelopes of the bidder shall not anymore be opened. This will automatically disqualify the bidder from the bidding process. Financial envelopes of the qualified bidder shall then be opened. The proposed price of the bidders must not exceed the approved budget of the contract. Any bid that exceeds the ABC will automatically be disqualified, as the ABC refers to the set maximum price of the project to ensure that the government will not spend more than the budget for the year. After all this, a bid evaluation shall be conducted. In this process, all bid documents are examined to ensure the following. First, that the information contained in the submitted documents are correct and meet the criteria set by the procuring agency. And second, that the proposed price of the bidder does not exceed the ABC of the project. The submitted documents of qualified bidders shall then be ranked according to the proposed price. The lowest bid shall be declared the lowest calculated bid and shall then undergo the post-qualification process. The post-qualification process. During the post-qualification process, the SBAC and the Technical Working Group shall examine all submitted documents to ensure that all information are correct and in order. The bidder shall present the original copy of all documents submitted as certified true copy. The process also entails the examination of the lowest calculated bids' past contracts, their facilities, products, and their financial capability. This is done to guarantee that the bidder can actually deliver the goods or services. With this, the PCSO is assured that the winning bidder does not only offer the lowest price, but is likewise technically qualified. Should it be proven that the lowest calculated bid or the LCB has passed the legal, technical, and financial requirements, it shall be called as the bidder with the lowest calculated responsive bid or LCRB. The LCRB shall then be recommended for awarding of the contract. The process of the government procurement is so easy. With proper planning and proper implementation, everything will run smoothly. The bidders are guaranteed equal opportunities, and the procuring entity is assured of the best quality at the best price. Thank you and good day.
Question number 1. Who can join the PCSO lottery system bidding?
The following can join the PCSO lottery system bidding: duly licensed Filipino citizens or sole proprietorships, partnerships duly organized under the laws of the Philippines and of which at least 60% of the interest belongs to citizens of the Philippines, corporations duly organized under the laws of the Philippines and of which at least 60% of the outstanding capital stock belongs to citizens of the Philippines, cooperatives duly organized under the laws of the Philippines, persons or entities forming themselves into a joint venture or JV. The JV may be a group of 2 or more persons or entities that intend to be jointly and severally responsible or liable for a particular contract. However, the Filipino ownership of JV shall be at least 60% and foreign bidders based on the conditions set forth in the bid documents.
Question number 2. Can foreign bidders join the bidding for the PCSO lottery system?
Yes, foreign bidders may join the bidding subject to submission of the following requirements that include PhilJEB's Platinum Certification, equivalent documentary requirements issued in their country as described under Section 23 of the 2016 Revised Implementing Rules and Regulations, compliance with the formal requirements provided under Section 23.2 in relation to Section 8.5 of the 2016 Revised IRR, and certificate of reciprocity that the laws and regulations of its country grant reciprocal rights or privileges allowing Filipino nationals to participate in government procurement projects for the same item or product.
Question number 3. If the participating company have delivered and maintained over 10,000 terminals, will this qualify for single largest completed contract or SLCC requirement even if the amount does not reach 50% of the ABC?
The value of the contract, not the number of terminals delivered and or installed, is required in computing the SLCC.
Question number 4. The participating company is able to meet the net financial contracting capacity or NFCC and the company's business is on telecommunications or IT. Would this be valid for the SLCC for the PLS?
Similar contract refers to supply and delivery and installation of gaming systems that are active, operational, and connected to a single gaming system, whether located within or outside the Philippines.
Question number 5. Do sales of lottery tickets from current and past projects abroad qualify to constitute the eligibility requirements on 50% of ABC?
No. It is the value of the contract realized for the past 5 years and not the actual sales generated in selling lottery tickets from current or past projects that is required for the SLCC.
Question number 6. In case of a joint venture or JV, are the potential partners required to submit duly notarized JV agreement?
Class B eligibility document under Section 23.1 of the revised IRR merely provides that the JV may either be a joint venture agreement or, in its absence, duly notarized statements from all potential joint venture partners. These should be included in the bid, stating that they will enter into and abide by the provisions of the JVA in the event that the contract is successful.
If one partner is a foreign entity, does the notarized JV agreement need to be authenticated?
Authentication is required if the documents to be submitted to the SBAC are in a foreign language other than English. Thus, applying Section 23.2 of the 2016 revised IRR, the eligibility requirements or statements, the bids, and all other documents submitted to the BAC are in foreign language other than English. It must be accompanied by a translation of the documents in English. The document shall be translated by the relevant foreign government agency. The foreign government agency authorized to translate documents or a registered translator in the foreign bidder's country, and shall be authenticated by the appropriate Philippine Foreign Service establishment or post or the equivalent office having jurisdiction over the foreign bidder's affairs in the Philippines.
Question number 7. Can two companies having the same majority incorporators can validly enter into a joint venture agreement under Republic Act No. 9184 or the Government Procurement Reform Act?
Two companies having the same majority incorporators may validly enter into and execute a JVA for purposes of participating in procurement opportunities with government, provided that they possess all the required eligibility requirements under RA 9184 and its revised implementing rules and regulations, and no conflict of interest under items number 1.6 to 1.7 of the GCC under Section 2.
Question number 8. For joint venture, are the eligibility and technical documents required for each of the JV member?
Any one of the JV partners may submit technical and financial document.
For example, if one of the JV member already has the SLCC and NFCC, will that suffice already?
For the purpose of determining technical and financial eligibilities, if one JV member already has the SLCC and NFCC, that would already suffice.
Will both members need to possess PhilJEP's Platinum certification?
Yes, all JV partners shall submit PhilJEP's Platinum certificate as part of eligibility requirement.
Question 9. Conflict of interest. Does it apply to the bidder only or applicable to each of the member of the JV?
The rules on conflict of interest apply to all members of the joint venture. See item numbers 1.6 to 1.7 of the GCC under Section 2.
Question number 10. Is the sworn statement applicable to the bidder representative only or to each and every JV member?
The omnibus sworn statement will be signed by the bidder's representative. In such case, the bidder's representative must be duly authorized by a resolution or secretary certificate in case of JVA, or by a written agreement of all potential JV partners in the absence of a JVA that the representatives has authority to bind the JV and participate in bidding.
Question 12. Are power outages or power failures considered as force majeure?
No, it is not considered as force majeure as this should easily be resolved by the uninterruptible power supply and or in-house generator set. However, if there's a widespread power outage caused by acts of nature or due to malfunctions from the electric power consortium, example, Luzon, Visayas, and or Mindanao grids, this may be considered as force majeure.
Question 13. Can the bidder, a newly organized corporation, adopt the track record of its foreign supplier for purposes of complying with bid requirements?
Yes, the track record of the foreign supplier may be adopted if it is a registered joint venture and consortium.
Question 14. In case of conflicting requirements in the instruction to bidders, datasheet and annexes, which would prevail?
For any conflicting requirements or inquiry, the bidders may officially inquire with the SBAC 1 and the committee will reply through SBB.
Question 15. Does no single point of failure mean that if any single major system component should fail, the system will not experience any delays in processing or degradations in processing transactions or zero downtime?
Yes, the no single point of failure means that all major components should have redundant configuration.
Question 16. Will the PCSO SBAC 1 use the grandfather rule or the control test in determining the 60% Filipino ownership requirement of a bidder?
The control test or the liberal rule will be used in determining the 60% Filipino ownership requirement of a bidder. However, when the 60-40 Filipino foreign ownership is in doubt, the grandfather rule applies.
Question 17. Will the PCSO SBAC 1 allow the use of two similar contracts that in the aggregate are 50% of the ABC and with one contract of at least half of the SLCC requirement?
The use of two similar contracts in aggregate is not allowed.
Madam Chair, kindly allow the Secretariat to announce that the bid documents are available for sale in the registration area during our recess.
Yes, please. Before we proceed to our recess, may we request the Honorable Congressman Gas Tambunting for a short message.
Your Honor, Madam Chair, let us give a big round of applause for the chairperson of the House Committee on Games and Amusement, the Honorable Gas Tambunting.
Maraming salamat, Attorney Gay. At saka maraming salamat kay Chairman Pinili sa imbitasyon na ibinigay niyo sa akin to witness the pre-bid conference in today's meeting. Alam po ninyo, hindi ko alam kung bakit ako talaga inimbitahan, especially si Gay nung hearing. Sabi niya, Kong, punta kayo ron para lumakas ang loob namin. Hindi ko alam kung ano kailangan para lumakas ang loob ni Gay. Mukhang malakas naman ang loob. Mas malakas ang loob ni Chairman Pinili. Kung takutan lang, hindi niyo matatakot yan. Kaya ako po'y bubati sa inyo. Alam nyo, as Chairman Pinili has stated correctly earlier, it's all about transparency and clarity. I just wish and I hope. I noticed there were only 3 bidders that have paid and have complied. But in the hearing last week, you mentioned 17.
Last year, 2017. Last year,
2017. I see.
Purchase po after the pre-bid conference.
And then?
Naging 17 po.
Okay.
So we are expecting after today.
Okay. Because the key here would be, one, there are 2 concerns of the Committee on Congress, especially members of Congress. Of course, we want it to be as transparent as possible. You have to remember that this is one of the longest unbidded contracts in government. And this administration definitely frowns on unbidden contracts. And it's high time that this be done. And I'd like to congratulate the board chaired by Chairman Pinili and the SBAC for initiating this process. But there's, parapakan po natin. We just have to make sure of two things. One is we have to make sure we have to make sure that it's not tailor-fitted for anyone. Kasi po, yan ho lagi ang kuro-kuro. At yan ho lagi ang pinag-uusapan. And I'm sure in the next Congress, if this is bidded out successfully, this will again be a subject of inquiry, which is how fair was it? Because if I were to hear the discussion earlier, if you look at track record, you have to understand that this is the only lotto contract in the country. So if you look at track record, how can others compete against the incumbent kung wala naman silang pakita dahil bago nga sila eh. So now they will have to go maybe with foreign counterparts or foreign partnerships to prove this. But kung mahanapan niyo siya ng performance, eh mukhang madidihado na agad po sila.
Sir, both local and abroad
Can be used.
Yes.
Now my question is, what if somebody has a favorable bid, a very favorable bid to government, but has a track record that, you have to understand, wala naman po pinanganak na ito po ang alam at ito ang negosyo. Some of them would like to venture into a business, and they would also like to help government. What would be, I understand the track record is to protect government, to make sure that they can perform. What will be now the minimum requirement? To make sure that it's not tailor-fitted for the incumbents. I think that there should be a basic minimum requirement for this. Para naman po, kasi ang ganda-ganda ho na ginagawa ng board, pinabid. Eh, mamaya umalingaw-ngaw at naging issue naman, eh, sila rin ang, yun din ang nanalo. So, ano po ang magiging safeguard? Second, and that's something that I think we should look at. We have now until July 3 to look at that. Second would be, what would be now the policy for suppliers that have filed cases against, that has been asked in the committee many times. And I know that there are some agencies that frown upon this. And I know that the OGCC has already come up with opinions on this matter. So I think that should also be studied very, very well. Kung ikaw hinabla mo ang gobyerno, you filed a case against government, and you did not win, and you know you have delayed the project for so long because of certain, I'm not going to mention anyone, okay? And what would now be the penalty, or should he or she be, or that entity be qualified to still join the process? I think that's something that has to be discussed. We have to take, I know that there are some agencies that have not allowed this to happen in their respective agencies. So I think that's a policy that has to be studied very, very carefully. And at the end of the day, we have to make sure that it's not disadvantageous to government. We have to make sure that the people that supply government and that earn from government revenues are not the same people that make it difficult for government to operate correctly. Dapat po, they're supposed to be our partners. They're supposed to be our suppliers. They're supposed to be people that should be treated with respect. Transversely, PCSO deserves the same respect from our suppliers. That's why ako po nagpapasalamat ulit. I thought I was just asked to observe. Hindi ko alam na magsasalita pa pala ako at I'll be asked to talk. Eh alam niyo po kami mga politiko, we politicians, for those that don't understand Tagalog, we politicians were graduates of AIM. AIM is a famous masteral course in the Philippines. It's called Asian Institute of Management. Pero sa aming mga politiko, there's another meaning to AIM. Ayaw iwanan ng mic. Okay? So, hindi ko na po hahabaan and hindi ko rin alam na magiging trabaho ko magpadlock ng isang empty na ano. Kaya ako lumapit, sa likod na ako, lumapit ako. Sabi ko, wala naman yun eh. sabi ko, Chairman, wala naman laman. Ano ba titingnan natin dyan? Walang laman. Sabi ko, yun lang pala, papakita nyo lang na walang laman yung kahon. Okay, sana maganda to, ha? Hindi katulad nung nangyayari sa Comelec na yun, ha? Na marami, huwag ko kayo mag-ano, nanalo naman ho kami. But you know, like anything else, regardless of the outcome of the election, again, we all demand, as a people, transparency. It has to be fair. Alam po nyo, I just embark on that issue, no? Kasi nabanggit na rin yan sa Comelec. Alam nyo, hiniyan na ho ng Kongreso yan, ng Committee on Public Accounts the other day. The real big issue is the 7-hour glitch, the 7-hour silence. Alam po ninyo, pag walang kasagutan ng tao sa tanong, dun ho, nagkakaroon ng problema, especially that's an electoral process. So, dun ho nagkaroon ng maraming questions. That was only answered immediately. If somebody just gave an immediate answer on what's happening to all the SD cards and the transmission and why the delay, then wala na ho sanang issue. No? Like PCSO, ganun din. Pag may tanong, sagutin nyo agad. Di ba ho? And mabuti nga, dapat sinasagot na agad. That's why we call for inquiries. And I am appreciative naman kada Chairman Pinili. They're always present to really answer and face the issues at hand. No? So that should be always the attitude. We're in government. Tandaan po ninyo, ang nagbabayad ng sweldo natin ay ang taong bayan. Yung mga mananaya dyan, they're the ones paying for our salaries. So they deserve the best service that government can give. So again, to all of you, good luck, more power.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Chairperson of the House Committee on Games and Amusement, Honorable Gus Tambunting.
A 30-minute recess is ordered to allow interested bidders to write down questions.
Madam Chair, please allow us to again remind our guests that the bid documents are available outside in the registration desk. We have our officer from the Treasury Department to receive payments for the bid docs. Thank you, Madam Chair.
So let's have a break, 30 minutes.
Kindly give your questions to PCSO Secretariat who are wearing the red T-shirt, except those with PTB Channel 4 mark. Those are our cameraman and production crew.
So instead of 30 minutes,
complimentary lunch is available. Yes po, it must be. All questions must be in writing for documentation purposes. This will be required by the Commission on Audit. So please indulge us. May we request all interested bidders who are intending to ask questions to please write it down using the forms earlier distributed by the Secretariat. Thank you. We have complimentary lunch for those who are famished. Please help yourselves.
you've been out there being down and out about the liars and the dirty, dirty cheats of this world, you could have been getting down to this sick beat. Shake it, shake it. I said shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it. I said shake it, shake it. I said shake it, shake it. I said shake it, shake it. I'm lightning on my feet, and that's what they don't see. That's what they don't see. I'm dancing on my own. I make the moves up as I go. That's what they don't know. That's what they don't know. No. But I keep cruising, can't stop, won't stop moving. It's like I got this music in my mind singing it's gonna be alright. 'Cause the player's gonna play. The haters gonna hate. Baby, I'm just gonna shake. Shake it off. My player's gonna break. The faker's gonna fake. Baby, I'm just gonna shake. Shake it off. Hey. Just think. While you've been out there being down and out about the liars and the dirty, dirty cheats of this world, you could have been getting down to this sick beat. Shake it. I said shake it. I said shake it. I said shake it. I said shake it.
dear guests. I would just like to inform our observers that the lunch will also be served in a few minutes. And as for the bidders and prospective bidders, you may partake of the food at the buffet tables. Thank you.
Imagination, life is your creation. I'm a
Ballers in here tonight, they gon' buy 100 bottles. As soon as you shake it, I know they gon' make it colossal in here. Shorty, you thinking them tricks that you do with your body. Got all of them fellas that crowding around you like you see Beyonce in here. You want your own and you need your own, baby, who am I to judge? 'Cause how could I ever trip about it when I met you in the club? I made it up for the both of us, but you danced anyway. You know I was raised in the A, shorty, I don't mind if you dance on the pole. That don't make you a hoe, shorty, I don't mind if you work until 3. If you're leaving with me, go make that money, 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 make your money, money, money. 'Cause I know how it is. Go and handle your biz and make that money, 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 make your money, money, money. You can take off your clothes, long as you're coming home, I don't mind. When you get off of work, I'll be ready to go in the Rari. And when we get home, we'll have us our own little private party in here. So I don't worry at all about the things they do or say. I love you anyway. You can twerk while in a split. Girl, you rack and you can touch. Your body rock and your booty pop. And I'm proud to call you my chick. They can look, but they can't touch it, shorty. I'm the only one to get it. So go ahead, keep on doing what you're doing. dawn is you're coming home. I don't regular. Tatlo po, ma'am.
Ayun pala na.
The Philippine Charity Sweepstakes Office, through the approved corporate operating budget, intends to apply the sum of 8,323,990,649 pesos and 8 centavos, inclusive of all taxes, levies, duties, and fees, being the approved budget for the contract under the 5 years lease of the PCSO lottery system. A sum of 1,660,000.
May we request the Secretariat to collect all the question forms? Please prioritize the questions of the bidders who already purchased the bid documents.
And paid equally on a monthly basis at the end of each month.
We will resume in 10 minutes. Those who need to drop by the restroom, you may do so. This will be a continuous question hour.
Of a fair and equal opportunity to be chosen for this project. This is ensured with our strict observance of the provisions stipulated in Republic Act 9184. What is Republic Act 9184? Also known as the Government Procurement Reform Act or GPRA, RA 9184 prescribes the necessary rules and regulations for the modernization, standardization, and regulation of procurement activities of the Government of the Philippines. This covers, among others, the process of procurement of office supplies, equipment, and general support services. The procurement planning is a critical part of the procurement process. Through this, government agencies identify which among their projects shall be prioritized in order to achieve their agency goals in line with the long-term plan of the government. Procurement planning involves the identification of right specifications of the needed goods and services, as well as the appropriate budget for the procurement of the project. In order to ensure the completeness and correctness of all bidding documents to be received by the agency, a pre-procurement conference was held last May 16, 2019. The procuring agency shall ensure that the specification requirements for the bidding are comprehensible. After this, an invitation to bid shall be published to encourage target bidders to participate in the bidding process. Prior to the deadline of the submission of bid documents, a pre-bid conference shall be held with the interested bidders to discuss the details of the project. All interested bidders must be properly notified of the deadline of submission of bid documents. No bids shall be accepted after the set deadline. The sealing and marking of bid documents. Per RA 9184, there is a specific manner on how you are supposed to seal and mark your bid documents. First, sort all your original documents into two categories: the eligibility and technical component and the financial component. We know that there are original documents which cannot be submitted, as it can be damaged or misplaced. A clear, certified true copy of
Secretariat,
the document may be
please collect
submitted.
the question
One part
forms of the bidders who purchase the bid docs.
Samples of these documents are the company's licenses.
All other questions will be read after we
After
go
gathering
through the
original
questions of bidders who
photocopy
purchase the
all
bid
original
documents.
to come up with 11 sets in addition to the original copy. Using the original copy, put all the eligibility and technical components in an envelope, seal, and sign. Then label it with the following details. Do the same for the original copy of the financial component. Now that your original documents are all inside the envelopes, using another envelope, put the two envelopes inside, seal, and sign. Then label it as original. Now for the copies of the original envelope. Get one set each of the eligibility and technical component and the financial component. Put all the eligibility and technical component in an envelope. Seal.
Observers are not allowed under the rules to ask questions. Nevertheless, you can give your comments, feedback, or suggestions addressed to the head of the agency insofar as the proper conduct of the pre-bid conference is concerned.
Envelope, put the two envelopes inside, seal, and sign. Then label it as copy 1. For all the remaining copies, copy 2 to 11, do the same as what you did in copy 1. You will have 12 envelopes including the original bid. Now that your 12 envelopes are ready, sealed and signed, labeled with the required markings, you may now put all the 12 envelopes in a mother envelope. Again, the mother envelope has to be sealed and signed and labeled. However, due to the volume of the documents required by this bidding, you may use boxes instead of envelopes. Or a
Can we
combination
show
of envelopes and boxes
the list
as
of
long
the
as
bidders who
seals,
purchased the bid docs
signatures,
as of
and
9
labels
a.m.?
are done in accordance with the instructions of this bidding.
Master slide.
The dimensions of your mother box
Who are
will
the
be
three bidders who
the
purchased the
maximum
bid
size
docs
that
as of
the bidding can
9
accommodate
a.m.
and the maximum
so we can
that
prioritize their
box
questions?
Should you need an additional mother box, you may do so, as long as you label all the mother boxes properly. For example, If you will be needing
Kiko,
further
kindly give us a
assistance,
copy of the
label your
bid
boxes
document
as Mother Box 1
in
of
the
3,
inside the blue
Mother
box.
Box 2 of 3, Mother Box 3 of 3. After doing all the sealing, marking, and labeling, you are now ready to submit your bid documents to the SBAC Secretariat and join the bidding for the procurement of the PCSO lottery system.
You ask them to read it first. Okay. Can we ask for 5 minutes so we can go over all questions? Okay, so we will prioritize questions from Diamond Power Winners Corporation, Pacific Online System Corporation, Philippine Gaming Management Corporation. All the other questions will be read after we read all questions of the bidders who already purchased the bid documents. Can we call on the authorized representative of PGMC? Who is the authorized representative, as indicated in the special power of attorney and the board resolution? Do you have a copy of your question?
Yes, I do.
You do?
Yeah.
Can you face the camera? Kindly introduce yourself.
Yeah. Let me get it first.
Kindly introduce yourself, your position and title, and the company you represent.
Good afternoon. My name is Jose Bernas. I am the corporate secretary of PGMC. Would you like me to read the question?
Yes, please.
Okay. Um, First question is, this regards paragraph 8J of the instruction to bidders. The question is a bidder who commissioned the development of a lottery system pursuant to the bid documents considered the owner of the lottery system? And this question is asked in relation to the restriction on subcontracting.
Okay, so your first question is it number 1 or number 2?
I've just read number 1.
Okay.
Would you like me to explain the question?
Yes, please.
Okay. So there is another provision in the bid documents which restricts subcontracting. So we just wanted to get a better idea of what the bid committee had in mind. So does the bid committee contemplate that only a manufacturer can participate, or does it also contemplate a bidder who commissioned the lottery system and thereby acquired the lottery system that it will supply or lease to PCSO?
We'll take note of the question first, but do you have other questions?
Yes. Okay. Second question. The bid documents have a provision to allow a foreign bidder. So my question has to do with a domestic corporation that is majority foreign owned. So will a domestic corporation, majority foreign owned, qualify to be a foreign bidder and therefore be subjected to the same rules?
I would like to refer you to Section 23.4.1.1 of the 2016 revised IRR of RA 9184.
Okay.
It provides there the bidders who are considered not foreign bidders. So as you can see from this provision, with respect to a corporation, you will have to be considered a bidder which is not a foreign bidder. The corporation should be organized under the Philippine laws, and of which at least 60% of the outstanding capital stock belongs to citizens of the Philippines.
No, that's quite clear that that is a local bidder. Now, and we also understand what a foreign bidder is. A bidder who has no presence in the Philippines would be a foreign bidder. I'm asking now about a domestic corporation, a Philippine corporation that is not majority Filipino owned. What would that classification be?
Then that is a foreign bidder if it does not
Okay.
comply with the 23.4.1.1 definition.
So it will be a foreign bidder.
Yes.
Okay. My third question, on the certificate of reciprocity, may that certification be provided after the bidding? The question is asked because many countries do not produce a certificate that quickly. We don't have that many days left. And especially when you're talking about big countries like the United States, you would have to go to the federal government to get a certification of reciprocity. And within the timetable, it will be difficult to obtain the certification.
If we follow the provisions of Republic Act 9184, its implementing rule, the certificate of reciprocity is provided specifically as an eligibility under Section 23. Must be submitted as part of the eligibility of the bidder.
Yeah, but I think it's, would this not be a, would the certificate not be a post-qualification requirement?
No, it's included as part of the eligibility under Section 23, 23.2. And also, you may refer to the Appendix 9 of the IRR of 9184.
Okay. My next question has to do with the same subject matter. The TOR prefers Filipino suppliers and Filipino manufacturers or owners of the lottery system. So my question is, since there really is no Filipino manufacturer or supplier or owner of a lottery system, can this certificate of reciprocity not be dispensed with because there's no Filipino to be protected?
Again, I would like to refer you to Appendix 9 of Item 7.2, specifically requires that certificate of reciprocity. So it cannot be dispensed.
Yes, but the premise there is that there is a Filipino supplier to be protected. But if there's none, and it's not required by law anyway, cannot the committee consider doing without it?
Insofar as the SBAC is concerned, we will be applying the provisions of RA 9184, and it provides that when it comes to foreign bidders, or in that case, we will be requiring the certificate of reciprocity.
Okay, so this would relate also to my first question about who would be considered a qualified bidder supplying a lottery system. Because if there's no Filipino manufacturer, you would have to qualify someone who commissioned the development of the system.
We'll take note of that question.
Okay.
In the meantime, do you have other questions?
Yeah, I have two more questions. The bid documents are still on the certificate of reciprocity. It requires a certificate of reciprocity which permits Filipino suppliers to provide the same product for the same activity. So, may we be clarified perhaps by an illustration of another country that performs the same activity? Because as far as we know, only the Philippines operates a lottery in this manner. Other countries do not operate the lottery in this same manner.
We'll address that and we'll issue the corresponding SPB if necessary with respect to your question.
Just not to lose the topic, the TOR provides for a response 7 days before bid date. That might not really give us time to properly provide a bid. Okay, my last question is this. In the definition of similar contracts, the term gaming systems is used, whereas everywhere else in the TOR, only the phrase lottery system is used. Can you explain why there's does it mean something different from lottery system?
I'll refer you to RTWG.
Good morning, sir. The similar contracts is a requirement by the RA 9184. We opened the bidding to gaming systems to open more avenues, more bidders. For example, those suppliers of the PAGCOR, they can also join our bidding. It's not just limited to the lottery system, but also to those gaming systems with online, that provides online gaming.
Okay, so you've expanded the range for the definition of similar contracts, but in your certificate of reciprocity, do you mean it to be narrowed down to lottery systems? You're not also including gaming systems?
We will issue an appropriate SBB for that question, sir.
Okay, so if we may just request perhaps a...
For clarity, sir.
Yeah, perhaps we may request a sooner clarificatory response, because 7 calendar days before bid date isn't really going to give us enough time. And then may I reiterate our request that the committee consider providing the certificate even after bidding, because we don't really have much time to obtain one. Especially if the clarification is not going to be issued until much later. So the specific wording of the certificate of reciprocity will be relevant to the clarificatory to be issued. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions from PGMC? Let's go now to Pacific Online Systems Corporation.
May I ask one follow-up question?
Okay.
Using the term gaming system, for example, when you say gaming system, it's quite broad. So it could be an online system without terminals in the way that the PCSO does it. So for example, if there's one bingo game, for example, hooked up to a few hundred terminals or online
I think you're
access.
referring to the bingo game of PAGCOR.
Right. So
are you referring to PAGCOR?
Well, you can use that as an example, but I mean, in general, the question has to do with the number of terminals.
Yes.
What would the number of units be? Would it be the terminal itself or the access? Or
It's the terminal itself. I
that-
think
that would be
the
one.
TOR is very specific that we are requiring the delivery of 10,000 fixed lottery terminal. And the bidders must have supplied at least how much? Can you answer? 4,756. And that is based on the historical data of PCSO. Meaning to say, as of March 30, 2019, the fixed lottery terminal operating for and on behalf of PCSO nationwide is 9,511 without reference to who the supplier is. It's the aggregate nationwide.
So, may I just turn over to my colleague, Mr. Su, who will be more particular about the gaming system question.
It's just to add further clarifications. PAGCOR authorizes establishment of e-bingo centers, and each of those centers can possibly have 50, 100 terminals. They're all linked online, obviously for control and everything else. But it's a totally different kind of a lottery compared to a lottery system. So it's just a statement that I'm saying that maybe the technical committee should rethink the whole thing, because then it's different running an e-bingo system and it's different running a lottery system. just only that point, no, just for further clarification, that it may be a little bit premature to conclude without thinking through what are the games that PAGCOR actually operates. And there may be other games that I'm not familiar with, but that one I'm fairly familiar with. Thank you.
Okay, your observation is noted, and the committee will decide whether to answer that or not. But I think what was just explained by the head of our TWG is that we are referring to gaming systems for purposes of okay. Madam Chair.
We will just answer the remaining questions through a supplemental bid bulletin, if necessary.
Any other question from Pacific PGMC? Okay, next.
Secretariat, can you please read the questions from Pacific Online?
On eligibility and technical requirements, registered JB means incorporated JB. This is a question. I think the question is, do we construe registered joint venture as an incorporated joint venture?
What the law, RA 9184, only provides is that the joint venture, if the prospective bidders wants to enter the bidding through a joint venture, is that they may either submit a joint venture agreement, or if they have not formed a joint venture at the time of the bidding, they may do so, they may submit duly notarized statements of all potential joint venture partners. So it does not mean that a joint venture necessarily requires that it be an incorporated joint venture at the time of the bidding. However, for purposes of joint venture, it is very important to note that a joint venture should be considered a separate entity from its joint venture partners. So later on, it will be necessary to execute a joint venture agreement, and also to take note that if the joint venture becomes the winning bidder, you will have to comply with the Philippine laws on engaging in business in the Philippines. That means you have to register with the SEC, you have to pay the corresponding taxes, as such.
Good afternoon. I'm Virginia Abuhamda. I'm the CFO of Pacific Online and the authorized representative. And thank you for going to the question right away. But I do have a two-pager that I submitted earlier.
Is this it?
Yes. I have a copy. All right. So, yeah, Attorney Jimenez, yeah, thank you for the explanation. However, we just got a little bit confused because initially, it was said that at the time of bidding, you just have to submit an intent, right, to form a JV. But then when one person asked about that experience, or is that a Q&A?
Ma'am?
In one of the Q&As that mentioned that in a joint venture, right, the experience of one partner is considered the experience of the entire entity, right? And then said, yeah, that's true. However, that's where I got it registered, but the JV has to be registered to consider that statement. I think it was in the video. Was it in the video? Yeah, it was in the video. So maybe clarify na lang. That's why I got kind of confused. That's where I got the registered JV question.
So for a joint venture, it may be a joint venture agreement, or if there is no joint venture agreement existing, there must be duly executed notarized statements.
Yes.
Statements from all potential joint venture partners.
All right.
Of their intention to form.
Yes. Okay, thank you. So if I may read the first, it's very simple. My questions are very short. So number one, because I'm a CFO, so I go right down to the peso values, right? My first question was, the ABC of 8,323,990,640 and 8 centavos is inclusive of all applicable taxes, levies, duties, charges, and fees. So right now, what I know is it's subject to a 12% VAT, right? So as an accountant, di ba, I have to work back. So the invoice price, if you have, like right now we do sales, lotuses, and you add a 12% VAT. So the 8 billion would then mean the base invoice amount, taking out the 12%, is 7,432,143,508.11. That's my question. So,
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon. You mean to say that on year one,
sorry, the first one, the base
You're
amount.
from POSC, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, okay.
The first question was, is the base amount of 8 billion really a 7,432 invoice?
Ma'am, at this point, ma'am, hindi natin masabi po na yan ang base amount because you will include all of the levies, duties, charges that you will incur in your bid to us. Lahat po ng magagastos ninyo,
Yes.
siyempre po i-include po ninyo doon sa inyong base amount, including the 12% VAT. So, pag binayaran po namin kayo, ang i-minus lang po namin ay ang withholding taxes po na VAT on services and on the service and the rentals po. Kasi bali rental po itong mangyayari sa atin and
Yes,
supplies.
yes. The withholding
So,
tax.
we cannot, at this point po, hindi po natin masabi na yun ang baseline po. Kasi meron pa po kayong levies, duties, and charges na babayaran po sa customs.
Yeah.
Siyempre po, incorporate niyo po yun dun sa bid ninyo sa amin. But on our part po, ang ima-minus lang po namin sa ibabayad namin sa inyo ay ang withholding taxes po
Withholding
ng VAT.
tax.
Opo. At saka ang payment po namin ay hindi po isang check for the whole year, but on a monthly
Yes,
basis po
I
tayo.
agree. Yeah,
Opo.
yeah.
Kina-clarify ko lang po
Yes.
yan. Opo. Okay na po tayo?
Okay, so,
So, ang VAT lang po ang withholding natin.
VAT, okay.
Withholding lang po. Being the withholding agent of the government po, PCSO should withhold such taxes po.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, because I'm trying to figure out,
Yes, ma'am.
because like,
Siguro ma'am, ang costing po
Oo.
ninyo, i-cost po ninyo yung service ninyo, yung pong mga i-deliver po ninyo sa aming machines, plus kung meron po kayong makompute kung magkano po babayaran niyo sa mga levies and other taxes, yan po ang total ninyong ibibid sa amin. Okay?
Yes, yes.
And then we will divide it in 5. Opo,
Yes.
yung pong binid ninyo sa amin.
Yeah.
But when we will be paying you on a monthly basis, ang i-withhold lang po namin ay yung pong VAT na 5% and 5% for the rental, 5% and 2% for the services, and the supplies po is 2 and 1% ba yun? Ma'am, I'm not so, po.
Okay.
Yun lang po. Basta yung withholding lang po ang sa amin. Namamaminus po doon sa
i-withhold
bid
na lang.
ninyo. Opo. Total,
So
your
it's not,
total
it's not,
bid
okay,
divided by 5.
sorry lang. Oo.
Opo.
Kasi ho, technically, let's say assuming the rental fee is,
Yes.
let's say 1 billion, right? 1,664.
1.6.
So yung sinasabi nyo ho, hindi siya vatable? Hindi ho siya subject sa 12% VAT? Is that what you're saying to me? Because, iba ho yun eh, di ba?
Hindi, nakapasok na po dun sa bid
Precisely.
ninyo na 0.6 yung 12% VAT. Okay
Yes,
po.
kung nakapasok na ho kasi ho yung 12% VAT, when I
Yes,
go
ma'am.
back and compute my project cost
Yes.
to see if I can meet the 8 billion or lower,
Yes.
i-consider ko na ho kasi yung 12% VAT na yun, yun yung pinakamalaki eh,
Okay.
na factor. That's why I'm just clarifying my understanding of the inclusive of VAT. Kasi I know the duties, the levies, of course,
Yes.
we understand that's our cost.
Incorporated na po.
Aha.
na po.
But when it comes to when I bill you, right? Kasi I will
Yes.
bill you every month, di
Yes,
ba?
ma'am.
Meron hong less plus VAT, less withholding tax, net due. Yun lang ho. I'm sorry to be so detailed, but kasi
Yes,
I
ma'am.
handle that.
Siguro,
So,
pagdating po natin po doon,
pa-clarify na
makikita
lang
na
ho.
po.
Kasi alam ko rin ho, nalilito yung mga
Opo, ma'am.
nalilito rin yung mga accountant ko sa office.
Basta po kami po sa PCSO, ang ima-minus po namin ay withholding taxes
Yeah.
po. On
Sige
your,
ho.
sa ibibil nyo po sa amin.
Okay.
Okay po? Okay, thank you.
Okay. So, ang number 2 question ko ho, the bidder must have completed a single largest completed contract similar to the project and the value of which should be equal to 50% of the ABC. I'm just confirming lang. It's not really a question. So, that's why I had that question. Is that VAT, VAT inclusive? If the
Yes,
number
ma'am.
1 is VAT inclusive, then is my 50% based on the 7 billion or on the 8 billion? That's why that number 2 follows that first question of mine.
Ma'am, no, ma'am. Your
So it has to
total
be-
bid should be,
The
50% of your total bid should be the single largest contract you will present to us, ma'am.
Hindi ho, ang question ko ho
Halimbawa
yung
po, ang total bid ninyo ay, ano po bang, saan ba dito?
number 2 lang ho.
Opo, ang total bid po ninyo ay, sabi niyo po kasi itong 7.4 is base lang po ito.
Base
ano
lang
po
ho.
ba yung total bid ninyo?
Hindi ho, ang question ko lang ho, ano ho ang 50% of ABC? Yun lang ho yung question.
Opo, yun,
So,
ang ABC po na pinag-usapan natin,
yung 8
ang ABC
billion.
po namin is 8 billion.
So, hindi ho yung
point
7.
ano.
Okay.
Opo, hindi po yung 7.
So, yung number 3 ho, is just bidder must submit a computation of NFCC which may be at least equal to the ABC and should be based on audited financial statements submitted to BIR. So, I'm just confirming, are we talking about the one that we submitted in April, which was as of December 31, 2018
Yes,
operations?
ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Number 4, if prospective bidder opts to submit a line of credit, it must at least equal to 10% of the ABC to be bid. Okay. So when I was looking at the form, yung NFCC form,
Yes, ma'am.
kasi like the bidder should compute the NFCC, right? That if you think na hindi kayo aabot do sa required NFCC, now you have to submit a line of credit.
Yes, ma'am.
So my question is, do I still have to compute that NFCC kahit magsasubmit na ho ako ng line of credit from the bank? Kailangan pa ho ba?
Hindi na po.
Hindi na
It's
ho.
either of the two po
Either
ang
of the two.
isasubmit po ninyo.
Okay. Tapos, so, yung number 5, this is referring to the bid securing declaration form or any form of bid security. Kasi, ang nakalagay ho sa, therefore, I have to speak English, no? Okay, sorry. The bidder shall submit a bid securing declaration form or any form of bid security in the amount stated in the BDS, bid data sheet, which shall not be less than the percentage of ABC in accordance with the following schedule. You had a bid securing declaration form, or you submit either a cashier's check for 2% of the ABC, a bank draft guarantee or letter of credit at 2% of the ABC, or a surety bond callable upon demand issued by the surety insurance company, which is equal to 5%. So ang question lang ho, if I fill out that bid securing declaration form, do I still need to do the ABC or no need, or din siya?
Ma'am, may I refer to you to our legal officer,
okay.
Attorney Leia.
Okay. Number 5 na ho tayo, attorney.
Ma'am, I'm looking at your letter. We'll just take note of your questions and then answer them if necessary
Yeah.
through an SPB. So we can
SPB
give
na lang.
other bidders the opportunity.
Okay. No
Thank
problem.
you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll just read the question. This one from the company named K-Team. I will just answer the first question with respect to eligibility and technical requirements. Who is the bidder from, or prospective bidder from K-Team? Can you stand up and be recognized? K-Team? K-Team? Please introduce yourself.
Good afternoon. I am Alvin Bedar. Actually, I'm a legal director for Colonwell, and K-Team is a prospective joint venture partner.
Okay. Good afternoon, sir. Your first question is any prohibition on a Chinese company to join the bidding? No.
Or
there's no
any foreign products or systems.
No. We only require that the requirements that we already provided in our Philippine bidding documents, as well as under the provisions of RA 9184, be followed. So I'll just answer the first question. So we'll just take note of your second question on who will bear LC charges.
If I may clarify that. Actually, under clause 10.5 of the SCC, the Special Conditions of Contract, there's the clause stating that LC is not allowed. So in case of foreign bidders or foreign joint venture partners who are usually keen on accepting a payment by way of LC. So if LC is not allowed, what would be the mode of payment?
May I refer you to our financial officer? We'll just answer it through an SBB.
Just an additional query, Madam.
Can you put your questions in writing so we can formally answer them?
Certainly, Madam. Thank you. And just one more clarification, please.
I'll return to you the...
Yes. And just one more clarification. On the matter of the authentication, I understand there is this new rule now. No, the DFA or the Philippines has acceded to the Apostille Convention, which means that in lieu of authentication of documents, they will now just affix the Apostille seal. So the DFA or any embassies of the Philippines will no longer issue authentication certificates. Would the Apostille be sufficient now?
Please allow the committee to study that. But in the meantime, that refers to authentication done by a Philippine post.
Yes.
It does not apply to when the authentication is done by an embassy or a consular office of the foreign bidder. Okay.
Actually, it's as I understand it, it's a consular of the. Well, it's the Philippine Consulate Office abroad because they will no longer issue.
It does not apply to the embassies and consular offices of foreign bidders. Yes, it only.
Yes, certainly. Well, we will just write down our clarifications on that. Thank you very much.
You can have your questions here.
Yes.
Please write down your questions.
Additional question.
I'll just read the question, okay? This one from the company Exact Inc. May we request for an extension of the bid for 1 month from the date of submission? This is for our foreign partner to process and complete all documents to be submitted. The other questions are from Zikret Kerberus. Zernet Kerberus Corporation. Is that correct? Azim. Okay.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm Isabel Zamora. I'm counsel for some possible joint venture partners, Zenet and Kerberus. So yes, our first question is, Whether is gaming required to be part of the primary purpose or secondary purposes of the joint venture partners, as stated in its articles of incorporation?
It should be primary.
Primary.
You should also consider this in relation to PCSO's charter, Republic Act 1169. So it should be primary.
In that case, should lottery be included in the primary purpose as well? The operation of lottery systems.
Can you clarify what's the premise of that question?
Whether our clients can participate in the joint venture despite not having the operation of lotto systems in its primary purpose, or whether another client which does not have gaming in its primary purpose can participate.
But this is a joint venture.
Yes.
So long as the primary purpose of the joint venture would be for gaming or lottery purpose.
Primary purpose of the
Primary
joint
purpose.
venture.
Yes, yes.
Actually, we have two other questions. They are as regards the documents to be submitted by all of the joint venture members.
Well, you can just refer to Section 23 of the eligibility requirements, because it really depends on if the joint venture has a joint venture agreement or it's not yet constituted. And at the same time, the legal requirements must be complied by all venture partners, even if they are in a joint venture agreement. So I'll just refer you to the Section 23.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, this one is from Ascend PH Company Limited. Ascend. Who is the representative of Ascend? Yes, sir. Can you introduce yourself? Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Andrew Buado. Would you like to read the first question or the second question?
Just read the questions.
I don't have a copy. Please read the question.
Do you have?
I
I'm
don't
sorry.
have a copy,
I'm sorry.
please.
You can read your question.
Well, I believe my first question refers to or pertains to the need to, or our request to extend it a bit from 30 days to 90 days. We wanted to understand if PCSO, based on the DBM circular number 2015-7, on the updated guidelines for issuance of multi-year obligational authority, the PCSO is required to request the DBM for the issuance of the MYOA. Have you secured already the MYOA, as this project involves multi-year disbursements of lease?
We are not covered. We are not covered. We previously inquired about that matter, and we are not covered by that circular.
Thank you. I think I believe the second question was answered already. Well, if you can extend it to 60 days, because we need to get our counterparts prepare the documents with us.
We'll just take note of your second question, sir.
Thank you.
From Windy Plan Company Limited, Korea. Okay. Sir, do you have a copy of your question? Okay. Please introduce yourself.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. My name is SJ Park from Windy Plan, Korea. So one question actually we had was regarding the technical specification. On page 85 of the TOR that we were given, stated that it should be capable of, or the system should be capable of simultaneously a minimum of 10,000 online lottery game customer transaction. But then in page 101, it states that the system should be capable of supporting minimum of 10,000 lottery transaction per second. So simultaneous transaction is different from per second transaction. So we just wanted to clarify on what exactly you're looking into.
The question will be answered through SPV, so everyone will be guided.
Okay,
Thank you for the question.
And just one more follow-up, ma'am. Regarding the turnover time, does this mean, because the turnover time was stated 6 seconds.
Could you put it in your
Okay.
question form so we can answer it properly? Next question is from CBA Solutions Corporation. May we request an extension of the bid opening submission from July 1 or 2, 2019 to August 5, 2019? Submission and August 6, 2019. Again, we will answer this through a corresponding SBB. Next one is Secure Links Network and Technologies, Inc. In case of, the first question is, in case of an award, an entity file a complaint against the awardee and PCSO because the Lotto system was registered at intellectual property and copyright offices. Will PCSO handle this situation? Who is the representative of the? Yes, sir. Can you first introduce
Good
yourself?
afternoon. My name is Jimmy Murphy from Secure Links Network and Technologies.
Yes, sir. Can you expound on your question?
Ma'am, that's in case of an award, no? And an individual or an entity filed a complaint against PCSO and the awardee because it was the Lotto system was registered under the name in intellectual and copyright office. If PCO can handle this kind of problems or situation.
So it's a complaint. Of course, PCSO will handle it in due course, availing of
Yes, ma'am.
our legal remedies, if any. But it's just a complaint. So long as there is no issuance of any order from the court that would prevent us from pursuing with the contract, then we will pursue with the contract.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Your second question is, I'll just read it, sir. For the purpose foreign bidder SLCC computation, what rate will PCSO use? Buying or selling rate? What date and time? Wait the answer. We'll just issue the corresponding SBB.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
ma'am.
for your question. And then your last request is to move the date of bid submission to July 5, 2019. I'll just read the...
We will take note of all the other questions and we will issue a supplemental bulletin to answer your questions formally. Yes. Is that another question? Yes. Can you please identify yourself first?
My name is Ben Villano. I work as a project manager for a lottery provider called Game Tech Labs. I submitted my questions a while ago to a guy, and it was returned to me and asking me to just read it aloud. So that's why I raised my hand. You don't have a
Sir?
copy of my question.
Yes. What company?
Game Tech Lab.
Game Tech Lab. Yes,
Okay. You see, as a company, isa kami sa mga nagbumili ng doc during 2017, and we attended bid conferences. Dalawa. Yung last one is dito. Okay? And we asked these questions, the same questions I'm going to ask you now. And I don't know if you want to recall yung response ng SBAC do sa aming questions. But for the record, allow me to say we got response, positive response that time. But now it's 2019, so and the tour is still the same. So allow me to read. My questions refer to the deadline of submission of bids already requested for an extension. I've been doing a count, of those questions. I will be one of them, okay, asking for an extension. Because for one thing, we just accidentally discovered, when was that? 17, I think, about a week ago, about the revival of this bidding. And a month is not enough. I'm just working on tax clearance, field jobs and all, while our technical, people are working on the details of the technical specs. So to cut it short, 1 month is really not enough. So we are requesting for an extension. Okay? The second, I'm going to submit this again. I hope you'll not give it back to me. The second thing we would like to raise is about the World Lottery, the WLA. Okay, and with that, I'd like to read what I have, what our technical partner, Game Tech, my CEO in particular, has prepared regarding the WLA. In reference to Section 6.2, Special Conditions of Contract, subsection 2, Customized Lottery System, paragraph 3.6, WLA SES. PCSO is improperly applying the WLA SES. The WLA SES is not meant, designed, or intended to be applied as a lottery system. Let me just mention again that we are indeed a lottery provider, okay, with clients all over the world.
If I may interrupt, sir.
Sure.
What is your question?
The question is, okay, let me forgo the intro. Actually, this WLA issue was already resolved in 2017, as I said. It's just that I don't want to print that. It's finished, and this is now a new. For all same reasons stated above, it is not also appropriate for gaming laboratory to apply the WLA to a lottery system individually, and for this reason, paragraph 3.6 should also be removed. Furthermore, this sort of requirement whereby an independent lab issue a certification for WLA for a lottery system is not, is not a process or procedure that any prospective bidder would ever contemplate in the absence of this actual procedure for its own needs and announcing it in a bidding document. So what we're saying is, as you have already responded in 2017, WLA certification is not appropriate during the bidding. If I remember right, the decision of us back then was, once you were awarded, then you have to get a certification from WLA or similar organization. And now it's back to the TOR.
Sir, I think you have a very long question. So you can just submit it to us and we'll study it.
Exactly. Thank you very much.
So if it is necessary that we issue an SPV to address the issues that you've raised, we
So
will do
I will submit this now and hope it will not be returned back to me.
But sir, for clarification, I noticed that you mentioned the 2017 bidding. This is different from the 2017 bidding. Even the technical specifications are different. So this is no longer the nationwide online lottery bidding. So the tech specs are already different, sir.
Understand that. Okay.
Any other question?
Madam Chairperson, Committee, I did submit questions, but I'm not sure if you were planning to get to all of them or if I should...
May we know your name and your company?
Sure. My name is Giles Louvet from Genlot.
It was read earlier.
No, it wasn't, to be fair. Okay, so it sounds like there was a clerical error. I have the questions, yeah, I can raise them now. It sounds like there was some confusion with maybe one of the other bidders. It was returned to this group, apparently. So I'm not sure where the error was on your part. But if I can just raise the questions, or would you like to read them as you have them?
I think we already answered one of your questions. Because we can't answer every question that is raised, we have to consider, the committee has to consider it. So I'll just, if you don't mind, I'll just read all your questions and then I'll just answer one of your questions. Is that okay with you?
I'm very happy if you go through them and answer each one of them. That would be wonderful.
So you have 4 questions. And the first question is, please confirm the credentials of the bidder and JV members thereof extend to wholly owned subsidiaries. Please confirm addresses of facilities such as warehouse and others can be provided after bid submission. Okay, 7 questions. Please clarify requirement for RNG versus airball draw machines. Which games, if any, can we propose RNG? Number 4, please confirm the standalone system, SAS, has to be exactly the same configuration as the primary and not mini. Please confirm system and software design documents can be provided after award. If the JV as a local bidder has not been executed, how can BIR issue a certificate? And then other questions. In the interest of ensuring the highest quality bids and a level playing field for all bidders, please consider extending the bid sufficiently beyond the July 1, 2019 bid submission date. The effort for foreign entities is substantially higher than local, requiring due consideration. And the last one is, will an editable soft copy of the bidding documents be provided to ensure exact compliance with the provided forms? We'll answer your questions by way of SBB. However, with respect to the one question, if the JV as a local bidder has not been executed, you mean the joint venture agreement?
Yes.
how can BIR issue a tax certificate? You just get a tax clearance from the BIR that you are not engaged in business in the Philippines. Okay.
Given that you afforded some time to the other bidders, for example, discussing with the CFO of one of the entities the specifics of taxes, could you also consider going into some of these questions and providing answers here and now rather than deferring them? Because obviously time is important. So if we can get any guidance now rather than in 5 days' time, that would be helpful for us and maybe some of the other bidders as well.
What you're asking about if we can answer the other questions.
I'm just saying, yes, so far you've given some responses to some bidders. If you have answers, maybe you can give the same to us on these questions.
What taxes are you referring to?
No, I'm using it as an example. You had a bidder earlier that had a lot of dialogue, which, if I may also say, some of the back and forth was in Tagalog, which is a little unfair to other bidders. But that's a separate issue. My point is, you've had dialogue with some of the bidders in trying to answer the questions. So I would ask your due consideration here and now to try and answer some of our questions rather than deferring them.
Okay. Please confirm the credentials of the bidder and JV members are extend to wholly owned subsidiaries. Please confirm. So you are asking who can be a potential joint venture partner? Is that it?
No.
So what are you asking?
I'm asking of a JV member entity, do their wholly owned subsidiaries and the goods and services they provide satisfy the requirements of the bid?
Requirement of the law is that there should be a JV partnership in this case. So if you want to set up a JV to your wholly owned subsidiary company, then you may do so.
Okay.
But you have to comply with the requirements of the law, either set up a JVA before the bidding, or you submit the duly notarized statement.
That's understood. It was just a question, is if the JV was incorporated with a wholly owned subsidiary, can we still satisfy the needs?
It doesn't, just follow the provisions of our
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I'll... With respect to your last question, will an editable soft copy of the bidding documents be provided to ensure exact compliance with the provided terms? We will just issue the appropriate SBB, so to guide. Yes, insofar as within 5 days.
Hopefully it's a simple question. The documents you've put up on the websites are in PDF format?
Yes.
So
you will be guided if we will issue. Your question is that will an editable soft copy of the bidding documents be available? So we will give you the answer within 5 days from this bid.
It just seems reasonable that if you're prescribing specific forms to follow, that you would provide those forms in soft copy so that we can ensure there's no loss of information when we duplicate those forms.
Okay, we take note of that.
Thank you. And of the other questions?
We'll just answer it through a corresponding SBB.
So you don't believe you're able to answer, for example, the address requirements of the warehouse? You don't know that at this point?
An appropriate SBB per our chairperson will be issued to that.
Okay.
To allow, right ma'am, to allow the TWG to answer in detail your question.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
May I just give a little more context to the earlier question about the gaming system?
Sir, yes, you can just put it in writing. So as earlier stated, we should give equal opportunity to all the bidders. So you can just include it in your
I'll just
question.
give some context to that. You know, because it's kind of strange to us. So in the example given, a gaming system, for example, one casino might have 5,000 machines inside that casino, but it's in one location. So would that count the same as 5,000 terminals for the lottery system bidding? It would be that kind of a comparison. That's why we're asking the question. We find it a bit, it seems to sound different when all over the TOR only the phrase lottery system is used, and in that certificate the term gaming system is used. So it would not be, in our view, be the same. So that's the context in which we're asking the question. So we will resubmit our question, but that's the context from which we're asking.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, ma'am. I'm Mr. Peter Gocheng of Colonwell Trading. My question now is, if we will remember it right, last 2017, there was a legal issues that was raised. That's why this tender was postponed and cancelled. So have you settled already the two legal issues that was brought by the previous supplier of this lotto?
Excuse me again, I didn't hear your
Natanong na to.
your question.
Yung kanina. Ang tanong ko po yung po bang dating previous issues natin, legal issues po, which the first tender for this lotto was cancelled because of these two the case that was filed in Makati. Have you settled that? Kasi baka mamaya magtuloy-tuloy tayo, ganun din mangyayari. We prepared so much document during that time. So, just for the interest namin, kung baka mamaya hindi na naman matuloy, we will prepare so many things. We will even go abroad just to authenticate so many documents.
Well, with respect to the case that you are referring to, yes, it has already been settled by no less than the Supreme Court. In terms of preparation, it's beyond our control.
Yeah. That's why I'm asking now. Because kung hindi pa na yun, why do we need to, po? So it means to say, tapos na po yung issue nun.
Yes.
Okay,
There's
thank you.
already a Supreme Court ruling on that one.
Thank you po.
Any more question? Please identify yourself.
Yes, I will. Good afternoon to the back and to the co-bidders. I'm Ms. Welma Lanzuela. I just want to execute my questions briefly para to give an opportunity to the other bidders, okay, would-be bidders. Number one, I noticed that there is a strong clamor for the bidding extension. Will that be granted on the ground of the because number one, we as a regular bidders in all agencies of the government, the OHD and the DILG, we are okay with the PhilJebs. But we have different partners in different field of business. So they are required by law to avail of themselves for these PhilJebs. And for them to be a PhilJebs member, they need to have their documents submitted to the local partners like us, and we will have to submit it to the PhilJebs, or it will take time. That includes also the tax clearance. So from July 1, the scheduled July 1, will there be a kind consideration, not only to me, but to everybody, to level the playing field, to have it extended, ma'am, at your, but to me, I would like to request for 1 month. That's it. And our company, hindi kami bumili in documents. Are we going to be entitled to receive the bid supplement for those who did not buy the documents? At the moment, though last 2017, if I remember it right, we bought the bid documents. Third question, will that bid documents be applicable to the new bidding? Meaning we are now considered, we bought the documents. Thank you.
From what company are you first?
We are from Commonwealth Trading Company Limited, Hong Kong, the foreign partner
So
of...
your first question would be a request for extension.
Yes, as well, yes.
I think we will, considering the other requests that we receive, of course, we will consider it, but right now we are intent on proceeding with the deadline, with the schedule of activities for this procurement. With respect to your second question, whether they are entitled to copies of the SBB. It's
Yes,
always
yeah.
available at the website.
Thank
And the third question would be,
Will it be considered paid na kami when we bought the documents last 2017? Or
No,
we
the-
need to buy a new
this
one?
is a new bidding. As if you may recall, if you did participate in the 2017 procurement of the NOLs, the said procurement was canceled through no fault of PCSO. So this is a new bidding. So it follows that this is a different ABC, different bid documents, which will have to be purchased.
Thank you, ma'am. May I just conclude the question of this Mr. Peter Gocheng that there was a Supreme Court issued already. Is that considered final and executory? Or there is an appeal filed?
Well, this is the SBAC, so they don't have any knowledge on whether an appeal or a motion for reconsideration was filed by the other party. So I will not answer it for the SBAC.
I see. Because some of the partners before, or some foreign principal, now they are declining to join in this Philippine bidding because they said there are so many suits followed by this and that, considering that they have all the capabilities. So we are just worried that we will be spending, because foreign partners now are not so smart, they don't want to spend any cents for all the documents and everything. So we will be the one in the losing end, the local partner. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay po, ma'am. Thank you.
I think there will be no other questions. And we thank you for attending this pre-bid conference. We shall look forward to having you back on July 1, 2019 at exactly 12 noon for the submission of the bids and bid opening on July 2 at exactly 8 a.m. On behalf of our Board of Directors, management, and employees, please accept our sincere appreciation for your participation and attendance. The Secretariat is directed to prepare the minutes and post the same at the PCSO website together with the AVP on or before the 5th calendar after the conduct of this pre-bid conference. SBAC members, TWG, and Secretariat are directed to stay for a post-activity assessment and other instructions.
Before we finish with the activity, may we just request our kind observers from the IBP, GACPA, and the Presidential Anti-Crime and Corruption Commission to join us for a souvenir picture, please, together with the members of the board and other PCSO officials. Please approach the stage for a very quick souvenir picture. Maybe request our friends from the Integrated Bar of the Philippines, Presidential Anti-Corruption Commission, and GACPA, Chairperson Pinili, Director Sinieres, AGM Lauro Pachag, the Chairperson of the Bids and Awards Committee, and other officials to kindly join us in front for a souvenir posterity picture.
There being no other matters to discuss, the pre-bid conference for SBAC contract number 2019-01 is adjourned at 2 o'clock exactly in the afternoon.
May we request the members of the board to please sit in front together with our observers from IBP, Presidential Anti-Corruption Commission, GACPA.
Also, we would like to request representatives from NAMFREL to join the souvenir photo. Attorney Lauro Pachag, sir. The chairperson is waiting. Samahan na po natin si sir.
Hey, 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 hey! Just think, while you've been out there being down and out about the lies and the dirty, dirty cheats of this world, you could have been getting down to the sick, sick.
Kasi nakasalalay sa inyo yung ating PLS.
Hello.
May I request all members of the Secretariat please approach the stage. May we request the Board Secretary to join us? Attorney Barayuga. Okay. Hurry up, Mamu, Emil. Thank you. Thank you. We hope to see you back, our dear friends from IBP, Presidential Anti-Corruption Commission, our friends from GACPA, and NAMPREL. Thank you for sharing your time.
Gagamitin pa natin yung sa bid opening.
Hindi pa to kaya. Ay, sorry. Souvenir.
Sa bid opening yan. Sa bid opening yan.
This is Atty. Lea. The Special Bids and Awards Committee and the PCSO management would like to thank our friends from Channel 4. Marami pong salamat sa tulong nyo. Palakpakan natin sila. Alam ko na ilang araw na kayong nagbubuwis buhay. Maraming salamat po sa tulong nyo. See you again on July 1. Pera Usog. Thank you.